Okay, Gloria, go ahead.
Great. Thank you, Greg. I'll call the Upper Arlington Public Library Board of Trustees meeting of Tuesday, October 20th, 2020 to order, please. Do I have a motion for the consent agenda?
Moved.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The consent agenda is accepted. I guess I should have asked if we needed any discussion. And I will say, I just want to thank people for our donations. We always get nice ones. So that's very appreciated. We don't have any public comments, I don't think. Assistant Director's Report, Kate.
Okay, thanks. Two quick things to mention this evening to the board. One, we're going to be starting a pilot delivering books to Windermere School. The school librarian had expressed interest in doing something like this because the schools aren't allowed to transport books between their locations this year, no doubt due to COVID restrictions and that kind of thing. And she reiterated to us how heavily that the librarians and the teachers rely on library books. So Gen 4 has been working closely, I think it's Sharon Hemmelgarn, over at Windermere to set up something we can work out with them. We would deliver perhaps once a week. We've got a set of staff that would work on that project. And so it's something we've been interested in for a long time. And so we're kind of excited to give it a try. And it's a good thing that's happened out of the pandemic. So we gotta look at the positives here.
Oh, that's great. What are
Second,
you going to do, Kate, if everybody else, all the other schools want to do it?
Well, then we'll evaluate and see what we can accommodate with the staff we have. That's always a concern we have, is we get excited about things and we just want to go full force, and sometimes we can overextend ourselves. So we'll take it one at a time on that. But good question. Yeah. Second thing to mention, and Beth, please pipe in if I miss something. Melanie from the Historical Society wanted to meet with us, and so we met with her yesterday afternoon, and she shared their exciting news that they have a new space. It's in that brick office building. If you're looking straight at the Get-Go gas station at 5 Points, there's that brick office building around the corner. Used to be a realtor's office, I believe. And so they have space, I believe it was on the second floor, that they want to move the collections that are downstairs in our pit to that new space, along with other stuff they have, I guess, apparently floating around various historical members' homes all over the community. So we'll look at the MOU we set up with them back in 2012, and we'll do some adjustments to it to reflect that we would just continue to keep some of the displays that are here in the library, because their new space isn't really a public space, it's more of a workspace for their members. And so that was kind of a surprise. I'm happy for them, and we'll figure out what to do with that little tiny bit of newfound space back in the pit. So just wanted to make you aware of that.
Anything else? Okay, great. Thank you, Kate. And it is exciting about Windermere. I think that's wonderful. Okay, Beth, Director's Report.
Okay, so starting Monday, September 28th, the main library opened the atrium for public access. We have items available for browsing. We're still doing computer appointments. And we've also, the Lane Road Library has opened up with their pickup window. So patrons can walk up and pick up their requested items at the Lane Road branch. They've seen a significant increase in traffic. The first week that we were open, we saw an increase of about 1,000. For those of you that got to see the article, the front page of the This Week Upper Arlington. So very happy about that. Franklin County, I did want to mention, has gone red. However, after some extensive discussions with staff and specifically our circulation department, we've decided to continue keeping the library's atrium open. Other libraries in Franklin County are doing the same. A lot of them have opened up for browsing: Columbus Metropolitan, Westerville, and Worthington, and so they're going to continue those services. They're not planning on going back to completely curbside. But we're not planning on extending services at any given time, mainly due to staffing issues. We have several positions that are posted, and we'll talk about a staffing update in a little bit. But so far, circulation has gone really, really well. Lot of compliments and positive feedback from patrons being able to come into the building again. And then we have a meeting scheduled in a couple of weeks with our branch managers to talk about extended services at the branches, but we don't have any updates for you yet. I did want to let you know that we do have a new mobile self-check that is available in the Upper Arlington Public Library app, which basically allows you to check out items directly from your smartphone. So you can come in, you open up your app, it says self-check, you scan the barcode, and then the item is checked out to you, and you can get an emailed receipt. As far as I know, Kate, do we have any update on availability for iPhone? We know it's available for Android. What about you, Greg? Do you know?
I've been told any day now. It is still in beta. I think the developer hit a minor snag there, but we're looking forward to iOS any day now.
Yeah, so especially for patrons coming in that want touchless, that if they don't want to use our self-check machines, if they have an Android phone, they can use the self-check app on their phone. So we're very, very excited about that. I did want to let all of you know that we did experience some additional minor flooding in the lower level here at Main Library. Some of the things that we've done, we have installed an outdoor sub pump and a trench drain, and the existing interior sub pumps were reconfigured. So the major flooding issues we've had taken care of, but we did have a little bit of water coming in. We think it had something to do with some electrical. So we're working on fixing those issues, but there are some minor things that need to happen in that lower level, just to give you an update on that. Is there any questions so far before I move on to statistics? Nope. Okay. So if you see I've been doing statistics on a weekly basis rather than a monthly basis, just to give us an idea of the trends in circulation, both physical and online, as well as the number of patrons that we're able to serve. So our circulation has steadily increased, especially as we've opened up the atrium. However, the number of items that are being put on hold have not really gone up, that it's remained static, which means the additional checkouts that we're receiving are items that have been browsed, as well as the items available at Lane Road. E-media circulation has pretty much remained static. We saw a tiny little bit of a dip the first week in October. Computer usage is steady. So we're doing very well. One of the things that we did when we first opened is I really wanted to get data and information on interactions with patrons, both from a question standpoint and as far as a complaint versus compliment. We wanted to see how many people are really happy with what we're doing, and how many people might be dissatisfied or have expected something different when they came into the library. And so I've detailed all of that information from the first 2 weeks in a separate report for you. Our in-person interactions, total in-person interactions, were over 2,500 within those first 2 weeks, with 785 phone calls. So you can see the in-person interactions that we're having are much higher than the number of phone calls that we're getting. And out of those in-person interactions, we wanted to see where those interactions were happening at which desk. And obviously 40% of our interactions are happening right at that front door when people are coming in to the library. The majority of those questions are about library services. You know, is the bathroom open? Can I go into the departments? Is this where I pick up my holds? You know, those kinds of questions. So what time are you open till today? Those kinds of things. I also detailed the phone calls by location to kind of know where the calls are coming in. Surprisingly, our adult department took the highest volume of phone calls, and it was great to see that because they do a lot of readers advisory via phone. So the transactions that they're doing are not only many transactions, but they can tend to be very lengthy in time as well. So it was kind of interesting to see that. Again, question types, library service was the majority, which we kind of assumed that, but we also have a lot of account questions still. And then between readers advisory, technology questions, and reference questions, it's about equal. And then the final stat that we gathered was our patron feedback. We had about 82% of the people coming into the library complimented on us on our service. We had people saying everything from, I'm going to do a little happy dance. I'm so excited to be back into the library. And it's wonderful working the front desk when you get all that compliment. I mean, the majority of those compliments happen right when they walk in. This is lovely. We're so happy. We did have a smattering of complaints, a lot to do with, is there study tables available? I want to go browse the departments. So I've listed some of the comments below. So a lot of really positive ones, thanking us for providing extra masks. We've actually had, that's been coming very handy for people that didn't remember or forgot, or didn't have one. So a lot of it has to do with like study tables, wanting to be able to come in and sit, or being able to go into the departments. And then we've had a little bit with curbside because we've had to combine our drive-through drop and our curbside area. That first hour can be really, really busy. So we've been having several conversations within administration and departments on how to extend those services so that we don't have such a large amount of people coming through that line that just in that first hour. So that's all from that part of the report. I was going to do an update on staffing. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Just good to hear we're getting, I mean, I knew people were really happy because I've talked to so many people who were thrilled that they could go inside. And glad, very glad we didn't close down, because I think they were a little bit afraid of that. So, I appreciate that from the staff.
And we've had a lot of patrons very happy that we're still continuing curbside that first hour every day that we're open. There are quite a few people that could not come into the library and have been very thankful that we're providing that service as well and considering extending it too. So yeah, very, very happy about that.
It's also just reflective of, we understand more about the virus, and in terms of when you hear the governor talk, when he talks about where is it being spread, he's not saying that it's in grocery stores and libraries and places like that. So it's just kind of responding to what we've learned about it.
Well, and I think that's one of the things that we shared with our staff too, is that, especially after the last press conference, the director from Metro Health basically saying that, we know that that spreading of COVID is happening with gatherings of people not wearing their masks, usually friends and family, that as long as you're social distancing and you're wearing a mask when you go into a place, you're washing your hands using hand sanitizer, it is very unlikely that you're going to get COVID. So it was very nice to hear that reassurance and know that we're doing everything we can to keep our staff and our patrons safe. So the staffing report, our third quarter turnover rate was 19.1%. We had 14 position vacancies by resignation. 9 of those positions, correct me if I'm wrong, Julie, were due to when we recalled staff back from furlough. Those are the positions that did not come back. We have had some since then that have also resigned. But we do have several positions that are posted right now, mostly actually all in circulation. We're trying to fill those positions and those vacancies so that we can send Miller Park staff back to Miller Park to be able to provide services at that branch, because right now our Miller Park staff are mostly working in the circulation department at main library to fill in for the staff that didn't come back or have left.
Hey, Beth, for the staff that chose not to come back, do you have a sense for how many of those they had found something else versus they had some health concerns or other reasons that they didn't want to come back to the library?
Do you want to talk about that, Julie?
Sure. That's a good question. As we brought part-time staff back in phases, I talked to each person individually, and for the most part, it was people who either had their own health concern, you know, that they were concerned about being exposed, family members. We had a couple in that group that their work situation had changed with their full-time position in terms of what, you know, what was being needed of them in their other position too. So it was kind of a mixture, but I pretty much tied everything back to COVID in some way that had an impact, whether it be childcare, you know, their other work, and also just the concern about being around other people at this time.
Okay, thanks.
Mhm.
Any other questions, anybody? Okay, thank you very much, Beth. Next, we have the Finance Committee. Do you want to start, Lori?
I'll start.
Looks like that. Okay,
Okay.
please.
Well, the PLF appears to have stabilized for the last couple months. Of course, who knows what the future holds given the state of COVID right now. But for now, since it was steady, we reinstated the pay cuts that we made as cost-saving measures over the summer. So the first pay of this month, October 9th, we did restore those salaries. We also this month received our final payment on our tax settlement. So for this year, we received a total of over $3.2 million. It was actually about $3,000 more than we had anticipated. Tonight, we're looking at passing several resolutions. Two are regarding our health insurance and our vision. The health insurance, the premium is going to go up about 5%. Originally, we had an estimate of 14% from United Healthcare, but our broker did get it down to 5%. And on the vision, there will be no increase for our employees. The library does not contribute to the vision insurance. And lastly, we will be authorizing the transfer of $300,000 from the general fund to our building improvement fund. We want to do this to ensure we have money going forward to make any necessary improvements and continued maintenance on our buildings. Lastly, I'm working on the 2021 budget, and we'll present that to the Finance Committee, and then we will vote on that in December. Is there any questions?
Any questions? Anybody? On the health insurance, Lori, I mean, I think it's great you got this reduced, and it sounds reasonable, and I guess in light of the situation we're in. Is this, so this is for a year, and do we re-examine this, renegotiate each year, correct?
Yes, and for this upcoming year, they have issued us a loyalty service credit. So they're going to deduct $2,300 each month next year because our costs were increasing this year. So that we are going to get a credit for next year.
Okay, that's good. Good to hear. Thank you. Do we, Kevin, do you want to just wrap up what you did at the committee and then maybe present the resolutions?
Sure. So the committee met last Wednesday and covered a lot of the things that Lori mentioned. I would also add that we did start the discussion of salary increases and pay grades for next year. And we asked the staff to go back and do a little bit more research on that, and we will reconsider that at our next Finance Committee meeting, and that we expect will also be on the agenda for the board meeting in December. And as far as the resolutions, I'm going to let Lori walk us through those as well, and maybe Julie on some of the insurance if there's any questions
Okay.
there. So Lori, I'll turn it back over to you.
Okay, thank you, Kevin.
Yep.
Okay, the first resolution that we'll take a vote on is transferring $300,000 from the general fund to the Building Improvement Fund 402. Want to take a vote on that, Gloria?
Do I have a motion, please?
Moved.
Second.
Any discussion? This is just to continue our maintenance that we've kind of planned for when we looked at how we were going to maintain our properties for the next 50 years or so. Is that correct?
Yes, and also we've also spent out of that fund, which the flooding incident that we had, we've paid for the drainage and the storm sewer. So
Okay.
those kind of unexpected items come out of that as well.
Great.
The 300,000 is sort of what we've been transferring on an annual basis. And so, you know, the financials are in good shape for the year, at least at this point. And we feel comfortable as a committee recommending going ahead and making this transfer now based on where we stand financially, which is, you know, we're in good shape.
Right. Okay. Thank you, Kevin.
Mhm.
Any other discussion? All in favor of the resolution to move the 300,000 to the Building Improvement Fund, indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The resolution passes. Lori?
Okay, the next resolution is the United Healthcare insurance renewal. It will be effective December 1st. It will reflect a 5% increase. We've also increased the first dollar benefit to $1,500 for single coverage and $3,000 for the other tiers of coverage.
Do I have a motion to approve the health insurance renewal?
Moved.
Second.
Any questions, discussion? Hearing none, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The resolution passes. Lori, you want to talk about the vision?
Yes, the Vision Service Plan renewal is with IMED. It's for a 4-year period and it will take effect December 1st and it will have a 0 increase in premiums for staff.
Do I have a motion to approve the Vision Insurance resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion or questions? If not, all in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Opposed? The Vision Insurance resolution passes. Thank you very much, Lori. Okay. I think that's all the finance. Anything else? Have I missed anything? Okay. Next is Operations Committee. Those were our minutes. And Peter is not here. And I assume everyone looked at those. Most of those things I think we've covered, or Beth has covered here. Just routine information, I think that, you know, about operations. We talked a little bit about levy preparation. I don't have my all of my agenda in front of me. Anything else anybody else has questions about from operations or wants to discuss?
I did want to mention, I postponed the presentation by every library at the Finance Committee just because it was an extensive agenda, but I plan on having John from every library do a presentation for the board at a later date. And so I'll send information to all of you at that time.
Okay. And this is the levy person?
Yes.
Right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Beth. Okay. All right. If there are no questions about operations, I meant to say this earlier and I neglected to, and I did tell some of you. I did talk with John. I actually went to see him. He's doing great, and said he was sorry he had to miss today, but this is the time when the nurse comes to work with him, I think, or the therapist or whatever. So he was not able to join us, but he's doing very well, and he was very appreciative of the food that we sent him. And I appreciate all of you who contributed, and I actually have some extra, and I think I may just, I know that Judy said how much she appreciated it, and I may just pick up something else because I have enough from all of the contributions you guys made to do something else. So I probably will do that, and I'll let you know what I take by to them. Okay. Now I think we will go into executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee. And Greg, remind us how we're going to do this.
Well, it looks like you'll make the roll call votes. Everybody will respond. At that time, we'll pause. I'll discontinue the live stream and I will leave the meeting. So I believe at that point, it will just be the board and Beth remaining at that point.
Okay. And then what do we do when we finish? Because I know we have to adjourn, vote to adjourn, correct?
Right. So Beth is going to contact me. I'll rejoin the meeting, restart the stream, and then you can adjourn the meeting.
Okay. Okay. Allison, do you want to call the roll, please?
Yes. However, I'll need you to request a motion.
Oh, okay. I would like someone to propose a motion to go into executive session to consider the compensation of a public employee.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Allison, would you call the roll, please?
Of course. If you approve and go into executive session, please say aye. Gloria Hedloff.
Aye.
William Shakurti.
Aye.
Kevin Fix.
Aye.
Stephen Flynn.
Aye.
Kate Hare.
Aye.
Okay.
All right. Thank you very much, Allison. And we'll see you later, Greg.